are again. What day is it now? What day is it now? Wednesday, October 15th. Just zipping right along, are we? I think somebody shifted the planet into a second gear or something faster. They had to have. Because the speed of time to me right now does not even remotely make sense. Absolute redunculous. But anyway. Hey, so I woke up a couple times the other night. I got a few things I'm going to touch on before sharing a bunch of emails, alright? The feather thing. I publicly announced I was going to leave trail cameras in there, which I did. And I think we all knew the results of that before I even did it. And then the next night I left them off intentionally. I said aloud in my yard, I go, okay, you want to leave some feathers in my outbuildings? Go for it. And there was one broken eagle feather left in the horse barn. Broken off. Whatever, don't be trying to figure out what that means too fiercely, because I don't really give a shit. And then I haven't turned them on again as to see what would happen 2 nights in a row. And I just thoroughly checked the chicken coop, nothing. Checked the horse barn, nothing. Odd stuff. And, some people have said, oh, you gotta start gifting. They want to gift with you. They want to do this, they want to do that. I'm like, I don't give a flying shit. Where I am sitting right now is the intelligence is far greater. They're just acting like... I can't even put into words smoothly what my brain's thinking right now. I mean, you're going to act like a fairly slow... challenged, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to leave you a feather and it's going to mean a lot of stuff and then I need you to react. No, we're beyond that, especially if you've been listening to me. We're way beyond that and you are far too intelligent. I know you can do much more than just leaving a feather. So I'm not into it. And as far as the gifting thing back and forth, I don't need to be doing that either. Your intelligence is far greater than leaving a couple things on a stump. I don't give a shit what they are. We're beyond that too. I am. Do you know what I mean? I'm well beyond that. We are talking some extreme intelligence. Okay? And that's why, so if you're wondering why I'm not getting all emotional about this sacred gift of an eagle feather, or why I'm not gifting these people back and forth on a stump. No. No, we're beyond that. These people are of great intelligence. You got something you want to say? Say it. Quit being a pussy. You know what I mean? I'm not being a dick, I'm just saying. We don't need to go through all that horse shit you do with other people and lead them around and probably laugh, making them bring you things and leaving them things for them, and then you and your friends are laughing about how they're reacting to you leaving a couple pebbles or a feather or a toy. No, I'm good. I know how intelligent you are, and you know how intelligent I am, so if you got something you want to say, you say it. Am I going to take the bait and give it a bunch of feathers a bunch of attention? Not really. No, I'm not. It's like, okay, you're leaving feathers. Big deal. You've done it 10 times. What, maybe you want all the feathers back and you can start spelling with them or something. Is that how you're going to get the message over? I don't know. But you better either, what's it called? Get off the pot. Shit or get off the pot. I got a lot of shit on my plate. I know these people are around my house and around the woods around here. I don't know how long of durations they are here passing through. I don't know. But you're wasting your time if you're just going to keep on leaving feathers in my outbuildings. If that's who it is. Do I believe a human being did? No. Do I think little animals are packing feathers to make nests? Have you ever been in a chicken coop before and seen all the feathers on the ground? There's enough in there normally daily to stuff half a pillow. So, no, it isn't a creature making a nest. There you go. That's my update there. And also, a little off topic, but kind of on top. Remember a few months back, I was really getting into the NDEs, the near-death experiences. And I don't know why. But I was really starting to listen. I just wanted to listen and learn, Learn. I can't stop learning. I love learning. I learn every chance I get about something. Anyway, I just had a little bit of an eye-opener. Says, because as I listen to all of you and I come across items, subjects, topics, experiences, notes taken, I put a little shelf in the back of my head if I think it has some significance, and then I keep motoring along. And as long as I make a mental note back there, it'll come forward again one day when something comes up that links with it. That's how my brain works. And but then with the NDE thing, somebody said, I read a small article and they said, why even bother giving NDEs any attention right now, because your turn's coming faster than you know it. And then maybe kind of step back and go, oh shit, yeah, I guess so. No shit. We are all going to know about death very soon. So I haven't given it that much attention. But I listened to a man the other day. Something came up on my feed, and I decided I would listen to this man's near-death experience. And I listened to him. And then all of a sudden I had a quick realization. I thought, wow, out of all of the near-death experiencers that I listened to, and 100% of them all spoke to someone of a higher power, and they were also, many of them were told that you're not done yet, you need to go back, you're not done yet, you need to go back. There's a direct message, that's a pattern they've all had, and not once did I ever hear a near-death experiencer be instructed that they had to come back to kill infidels and chop their heads off. Not once. I never heard that once. I never heard a near-death experiencer say that they were told they need to come back to the world, spread the word of Islam, and chop some more heads off. Not one. Why is that? Why is that? There's a lot of people that seem to think that is what you're supposed to be doing. That's the word of the great Allah, right? But I'd like to maybe possibly talk to some of those people and that have had, who go through life with those beliefs. I'd love to talk to some of those people who've had near-death experiences and see what they were told when they were sent back. Wouldn't that be interesting? Huh? Just taking note. I'm just saying. Have you guys? I haven't heard that message been brought forward to a near-death experiencer when they're on the other side once. So maybe it's wrong, right? Maybe they're doing the wrong shit when they're here. What's another one? I saw another clip of Charlie Kirk talking to one of those, I don't even know what he was, some kind of Muslim dude. And he was telling Charlie Kirk about the great Muhammad, greatest man that ever existed. And how he killed thousands. He killed thousands of infidels. Charlie Kirk's like, oh, really? So he's the greatest man that ever existed? He killed thousands? He goes, yes. And he had many wives? He had many wives. He married, his youngest wife was 6 years old when she married him. This is straight from the dude. This is straight from the Muslim dude. And he said flat out in the camera, yeah, he was in his 50s. He killed thousands. He's the greatest man that ever lived. And one of his latest wives was 6 years old when he married her, and then they made it official when she was 9. And Charlie said, so he killed thousands and he raped a 9-year-old girl, and you guys worship him. Right on. Some crazy shit going on the planet, right? There's some crazy ass shit going on the planet. Crazy. Anyway, thought I'd make those two little mentions because that's what I woke up to with my brain this morning. Bunch of frickin' lunatics, I'll tell you what. Also, one more quick note. I saw another firearms organization in Canada sending out the warning that the great gun confiscation in Canada is on its way. And they also, in Canada, remember I always told everybody, if you're in the Commonwealth, all of the absolute insanity that goes down in the UK, it trickles down to us, Australia, New Zealand, soon afterwards. Welp, a Canadian was just jailed for 20 months for a Facebook post. It's happening. It's officially started. There you go. Do not give your guns back. When the government says turn in your guns, what that really means is get as many guns and as much ammo as you can. That's what the message truly is. Just so you know. Here we go. Sasquatch sighting is the title of this email sent in to us. Hey Steve, I'm glad I discovered your videos on YouTube, as I'm an avid outdoorsman for over 40 years. I enjoy listening to your hunting stories and the way you present them in a down-to-earth, no bullshit kind of way. I especially enjoy listening to all the Sasquatch stories, and it's good to know there are thousands of people willing to share their own encounters. I have my own encounter to share with you today, but first I'll give you a brief description of my background, which may help lend credibility to my story. I was born and raised in Iowa, which was in the heart of the Midwest and is well known for big whitetails. And after high school, I went on to college and graduated with a doctorate degree in the healthcare field. I'm probably more educated than most people, but I've always considered common sense and woodmanship skills more important than book smarts. I agree. Book smarts is just having a good memory. I still live in Iowa, in a city of several 100,000 people. And once you get outside of town, the area is predominantly agricultural, with the exception of timbered areas that border the creeks and river systems. Not exactly ideal Sasquatch habitat. And as mentioned earlier, I've been an avid outdoorsman my whole life, having harvested well over 30 Pope and young whitetails by bow. My biggest obsession is trapping, however, and I've run long trap lines all over Iowa for mink and raccoon. I've also done taxidermy as a hobby, so you could say when it comes to wild animals in my home state, there isn't anything I haven't seen up close, or so I thought. So here's where my Sasquatch story begins. It was November 10th or 11th, 2017, and I'd been bow hunting on a property 2 hours from home. After an unsuccessful hunt, I drove the long route back, which usually put me home around 10 p.m. And as I got off the interstate and started heading through my town, my route takes me adjacent to a major river with scattered woodlots and housing developments. I was approaching a wooded area to my right, and the river was about 300 yards to my left. And keep in mind, Steve, this is smack dab in the middle of town. I always keep an eye out for deer, especially during the rut, as I've had many close calls with bucks running in front of my vehicle. As I was approaching a curve in the road, my bright lights illuminated a set of large amber-colored eyes off in the distance. As I closed the distance to maybe 50 yards, I was in shock, because the eyes appeared at least 8 feet off the ground and were absolutely huge. These eyes appeared to be the diameter of a soda can and about 5 inches apart. By this time, I'd slowed down to maybe 10 miles per hour, with my high beams pointing directly towards whatever it was that was standing there just inside the woods along the edge of the road. And what I saw next shocked me. I was able to make out a very large creature covered in brownish black hair, standing on 2 legs, looking directly at my vehicle, and it was huge. It all happened so quickly that I didn't even think to stop the vehicle for a better look. And as I drove past the creature, I knew without a doubt what I'd just seen. A Sasquatch. Since then, Steve, I had a couple other experiences, but I'll leave those stories for another day. I personally find these creatures fascinating. I would love to have another sighting, despite so many people having negative experiences with them. I find it even more amazing that these creatures are willing to travel in very close proximity to people, and yet remain undetected the vast majority of the time. Anyhow, keep up with the good work, Steve, and feel free to use my story and my name. Best regards, Steve Olson. There you go. Welcome to the club, man. And there's another one. It is amazing, isn't it? It's just like here where I live. You know, the town taxi driver emailed me, told me him and his fare saw one cross the highway heading down my road in the rain at night in the headlights, coming this way. You know, you can go to any major city in Canada anyway, probably Washington and Oregon as well. I mean, you go to Vancouver, British Columbia, and you look at all those mountains they always have for the backdrop. All those mountains overlooking the city of Vancouver are cluttered with sightings. Cluttered. Overlooking the big city. But then again, you know, when you go up in those mountains, which I've hunted the mountains I've been on, if you drive from Vancouver to Pemberton and you look on either side of that highway, I've been in that patch of timber. Trust me. I've been on those hills. And once you get up there and you look down, and you're in the middle of nowhere, it seems up there. It's all virgin timber, goes forever, especially in a Garibaldi Park. Or if you're on the other side of Howe Sound, it goes forever in the other direction. And you look down, And no matter how big the population gets in the cities or how many people are ripping around, they're still within how many yards of that little road down there, that windy little trail with a yellow line in the middle. The majority of the people are stuck. The majority of the people spend how much of their lives are spent within how many yards of that yellow line on any road at any given time. Think about that one. Once you climb up one of those mountains and look down, we are nothing to avoid. We're so easy to avoid, it's stupid. There's a sad thought too, and I used to think about when I finally realized that, or was thinking about that one day. I was sitting on a ledge way up there, glancing down. I could see the highway, and I'm like, man, look at all those people on that little thin. They're all using the exact same trail, back and forth, the exact same trail. And all that pavement. Pavement to the store, pavement to their food, pavement to their house, pavement to the park. And how many people rarely leave at least view of the pavement in their whole frickin' existence. Ugh. Creepy. Rambling. Deer hunting experience is the title of this next email. Yeah, I really enjoy your stories, and I have one of my own for you. When I was 23 or so, I'm 54 now, my dad and uncle and I were deer hunting in Northern California in the Warner Mountains above Alturas. I've been going with them up there since I was 11 years old and knew the area well. On opening day, I decided I was going to get out early before sunrise and make my way to a spot with a clearing that I thought would be good for sitting when the sun came up. That morning after breakfast, I was on my way in the dark with a flashlight and my rifle trying to be quiet, but I'm sure alerting every living thing in a mile of my presence. After I was out there walking a while, I started getting the feeling of being watched. I flashed the light around but saw nothing, but the feeling was strong and was making me feel very uneasy. This kept up for at least 30 minutes because now I was in a hurry to get to the open area I was headed for. When I finally got to the tree line, the sun was starting to come up, and I went right out in the middle of the meadow, so I could see all around me, but the feeling of not being alone was still there. I kept telling myself it was just deer, but this is more like when you're standing someplace and somebody's staring at you, and you turn around like, what are you looking at? Like intelligence, not an animal. I know you know what I'm talking about. When you spend a lot of time in the woods, your senses are more alive. So it was like 30 degrees that morning, so I started walking toward the rim rock so I would be in the sun as it came up. All the while heading up there, the feeling never left me. And I was looking all around the whole time, afraid a mountain lion was stalking me or something. And when I reached the top, there was patches of snow on the ground, and in one of the patches there was a half of a footprint of the heel. And at least 6 feet past it was half of the front part of a foot, only these prints were big and wide and had 5 big toes. I just stood there looking at them thinking, am I really seeing this? I know a bear track when I see one, and this is not a bear track. It looked just like a human foot, only big, like the plaster cast ones. Then I looked over the edge where the track was pointing, and it was an open area with flat rock shale that looked like something had just gone through it. And about 30 to 40 yards down was a bunch of short pine trees. When my eyes made contact with them trees, it felt like someone was down in there looking up at me thinking, does it see me? Should I run? Why is it staring at me? And at that point, the hair on the back of my head stood up and I got the hell out of there. I walked fast all the way back to camp, and when my dad and uncle got back, I told them about it. And of course, they didn't believe me and just said I was chasing Bigfoot. I've been back there many, many times since then and have never seen anything. Keep up the good work. Thanks for reading. Reed Carlson. Reed, appreciate you, man. Appreciate your honesty and more appreciate the time you just took from your life and shared it here with us. That's a valuable gift, my friend. Welcome to the club. The club of no return. What do we got here? Excuse me. Sasquatch sighting is this next email. Hi. I found your videos through a link from Coast to Coast AM about a month or so ago. I've been watching them ever since. I've never been on that coast-to-coast radio show. This story takes place in Indiana, but I've spent quite a lot of time in British Columbia. I have some friends that live in West Van. My son, 11, and I house sit for them last fall. We were in BC for about 6 weeks and took day trips up to Whistler just to check things out. Funny, as I was just talking about that zone. Anyway, like I said, the story takes place in Indiana, south central Indiana. We live close to a town called Bloomington of IU basketball fame, Bobby Knight, etc. John Mellencamp lives here too. I grew up about 4 doors down from his studio. No shit. This takes place in late summer 2016. We live about 15 minutes from town, nestled in the Yellowwood State Forest. And to the south of us is the Hoosier National Forest, which is about 200,000 scattered acres across Lake Monroe. My son and I were on our way back from grabbing a bite to eat. And there's this place we often step off to hike or just listen and have a picnic, or just listen to a podcast and watch nature. I was on the phone with his mom. She lives out of state. And we're organizing for our son to go with her for a bit. And as we were getting the details sorted out, we were eating a pint of butter pecan ice cream. I'm on the phone, and my son is looking out over this large field, and he says, "Papa, look, there's a guy out there." My first instinct was, whoopity-doo. I didn't even look over. Then I looked, and I saw that there was a guy in the same sparsely planted corn. In some sparsely planted corn. His head was over the top of the corn stalks. Then my son said again, "He's walking over here." I looked up, and about 300 yards out, he had moved into this clearing. I saw the guy. He looked like he was wearing some shaggy fur. He walked closer into about 200 yards, and he looked like he had a Chewbacca outfit on. Then whatever it was started running at us and got into about 100 yards fast. I got a better look at it and took note of its look more than anything. And it was a rush. It was a rush that it was coming towards us, but also a bit humorous because it almost looked exactly like Chewbacca, minus the utility belt attire, just hairy in a similar way. And at a distance, I assumed it had some sort of a furry outfit on, which was weird for that time of year because it was ungodly hot. And we ran and got into the car, and by the time we were pulling out of there, it was almost to us. I'd say 30 yards when we sped out of there. Holy shit. I went back and stopped off to see my nephew. He's 6'4" and very interested in strange sightings and so on, and he went back with me to the spot the next day. And I had him walk in the corn at the exact location. There wasn't much of it, so it was easy to find the exact spot. And his head was well below the corn stalks. Whatever that thing was, it had to be at least 8 to 9 feet tall. I had him go into the clearing and run. He couldn't cover the ground like that thing could. Even at his full speed, it took him a long time to get back to where I was standing. If I'd had to guess, I'd say that thing was going 25 to 30 miles per hour. I thought maybe it was a prankster with a furry suit on, but if that were true, it would have to be heavy and would make it impossible to get going that fast. Even an athlete would be over-encumbered with a suit on like that. It was very humanoid. Even during the entire experience, I thought it was a guy. Only when we returned with my nephew and did size and distance/speed comparisons did I start feeling kind of weirded out. Its form when it was running was exactly like a man's. It didn't seem ape-like at all. It ran like an Olympian athlete. My son can come back up and confirm everything in this story. I'd like to remain anonymous. We will probably be heading back out to BC in the somewhat near future. We do some hiking around Squamish and Whistler. You ever go to Howe Sound Brewery in Squamish? They have this awesome blueberry beer called My Boy Blue. I'm not much of a beer drinker, but that one is tasty. Good pizzas too. Keep up the great work on the channel, Aaron. Aaron, appreciate you big time sending that in, man. Appreciate your time you spent emailing us and your honesty. Hold on a minute. All right, I just said your first name. No big deal, right? Okay, gotcha. Do I ever go to Squamish area? Yeah, I was around there for the last 18 years, but I don't spend too much time around Squamish itself. It's overrun with people. Overrun with people. Sarah's still on a Facebook page there. She's just saying this morning. She said that they're not going to have any fireworks this year in Squamish because of the impact on the environment. I just about vomited my frickin' coffee out. This is a small town on the coast, the mouth of many rivers, who are money hungry, and they have been putting up multi-level condos in every square patch of dirt they can find. And then they're going to talk about how they're worried about the impact on the environment. Holy shit. Oh, holy shit. You gotta be kidding me. Unbelievable. But anyway, no babbling. No babbling. 25 to 30. Obviously, that guy knew what he was doing. I wonder why, you know? I mean, he could have ran up on your ass like nothing if he felt like it. Way before he got to the vehicle. Easily. Easily. Oh, yeah. Somebody asked me about my origin and possibly why I was chosen to do what I'm doing right now. I don't know. Do we choose or does somebody else choose? What do you guys think? Your path in life. I mean, we're given free choice, right? But allegedly some people may be chosen. I don't know. Because I can't explain how the hell I got in this position. Honestly, I don't know how I managed. What am I doing here? This is the last thing I would have dreamt I'd be doing in my life. Time of my life. But anyways, back to this. Somebody who sent me a bunch of various meanings of names. And I guess we can all Google up. Not that Google is the most honest place on the planet, but you can always do your own looking into what your name means. I think I gave a bit of a a bit of a hint on my names. And what happened was my mom had a evil stepfather when she was a young girl. I didn't even know. I was so young. I remember the guy sort of, but I didn't know he was a stepfather at the time. I thought he was my grandpa. I didn't know. And anyway, his name was Harry. And my dad said I'm the first son of the first son all the way down the line that I had to be named Harold. Harald, not OLD. And then she said, fine. So we'll put that on the birth certificate, but his name's going to be Stephen. And I looked up the meaning of Stephen, and apparently Stephen translates to the Greek or something to the crowned one. But anyway, here's the name of which Harold means. So I'm direct descendant, and I'm quite sure I have a gazillion billion relatives when you're directly related to a king of the old ages, because they impregnated everybody, didn't they? You know what I mean? Kind of like Genghis Khan. The amount of Khans running around the planet because of him is insane. But anyway, the name Harold means army ruler or army commander. It originates from Old Norse and Old German and is a masculine name with Scandinavian and Germanic roots. The name is derived from the elements Harja, army, and Valder, ruler/power. Meaning, army ruler, army commander, or war chief. Origin, Old Norse, Harald. Old German and Old English, Herwald. Key elements. The name comes from a combination of elements, Harja, army, and Valder, ruler or power. Historical figures. The name was popular in Viking Age England and Scandinavia and was borne by historical figures like Harald Hardrada, King of Norway, and Harald Blue Tooth, King of Denmark. Well, there you go. Somebody asked me about my name and heritage. There you go. That's the story. Does it fit? I don't know. I know one thing. My Viking grandfather, he was still swinging an axe, warring at 72 or 74 years old, and then he got split in two from behind in a fjord by an axe in a battle. My dad took us to the fjord and showed us where he got chopped. I can see that. I plan on still swinging the axe in my 70s. Yeah. What do we got here? Fresh out of the pan. Camping night in 1997. Hi, Steve. I'm one of those people that are bad with punctuation. Please forgive me. You don't have to ask for forgiveness. Please forgive me for butchering it the way I read. I have 2 stories, but I'm only going to talk about one encounter. My best friend, her husband, and another couple experienced when they went camping up in Bear Valley, California in 1997. They were all standing around the campfire and noticed a family of forest keepers standing in the trees looking at them. A family of forest keepers. They were that close, just beyond the vehicles. They were terrified. And the husband of the other couple shot at one and said the bullet bounced off of the big one. It ran the beings off away from the camp, but my friend and the rest of them got into their vehicles and left everything. The next morning, they came back to clean up the camp, and they said toilet paper tissue was all lined up in their camp. Pretty, telling them to clean up their stuff they left in the forest. My best friend's husband would literally never speak of that night, and I tried many times to get him to talk about it. 3 out of 4 of the group have passed away now, and I've never really got to get a clear story. Thank you for your channel. P.S. My second story was with my daughter, her husband, and a friend of mine in 2021 up in the same area. Best wishes. Tanya, send me the story. You should have included it. We want to hear it. And you might want to send him this video and let him know that this is a safe place to speak openly about what he saw and didn't ask to see. Because maybe there's some more to it, maybe. And whatever he may have experienced, especially what he has experienced to make him not want to talk about it. He might want to rethink it because maybe possibly whatever is intimidating to him, you might want to help somebody else out here that's in the same position as you. You know what I mean? It sounds like that's kind of like being held in a cell. Having something so absolutely impossible, according to our upbringings, happen without you asking for it, and then you can't talk about it. That's bullshit, not fair. Right? And if I get lucky enough and this man does hear the video, that's a direct message to you, man. It's not fair. It's not fair. Don't give in to it. You can send me an email anytime, and I won't share your name or location or anything. We just want to hear what happened, what was the results of what happened. There's probably millions of us at this stage of the game. You just want some answers. And the only place we're going to get them is listening to the people, and you're one of the people. Okay? Get it off your chest and free up from that shit. Free yourself up. Who's next? Somebody forwarded me the other day that Rob Lowe, the actor Rob Lowe, was on the Joe Rogan show, and he was talking about Sasquatch. Apparently him and his kid are right into it. I never listened to the segment because I don't listen to Joe Rogan too often, but especially I don't need to hear him talk about the Sasquatch topic because him and his friends just try to make it a joke. So I'm good. I don't need to listen to people or speak with people that consider this truth a joke. We're done. You're just a speed bump. And then I actually thought about, all right, this Rob Lowe has got some interest, or maybe he's seen something. Maybe I should talk to him. And I spent about 3 minutes looking into how to get a hold of him, and then I kind of shook my head. I'm like, who gives a shit? He's just another person. You know what I mean? It's just me and the celebrity world don't get along too well. It's kind of like water and oil. I just can't do it. I mean, the door's been wide open to hit the celebrity circuit. I don't know how many times. I just can't do it. Can't do it. This is where I am with the people. This is why I'm just one of the people. We're all here at the biggest club on the planet, the people, right? Who knows? Maybe he's a great guy and he's straight up, and I don't know. If he contacts me one day, sure, I'll talk to him, but I'm not going out of my way to look like some kind of frickin' fanboy worshiping some person for being a professional played actor. You're paid to pretend you're something you're not, and people basically faint from looking at you. Holy shit, that's twisted to me. Anyway, Arizona, Oklahoma experience. Steve, my name is Richard Rex. Richard Rex. Not your common name. Sounds like a 70s. What would your 70s porn name be? I'm Richard Rex. I'm just kidding, man. All the respect to you. My name is Richard Rex, and you can use it. I don't care what people think. First, I'm 72 years old. I've hunted all my life. And I always say I am 1/3 Cherokee, 1/3 German, and 1/3 hillbilly, LOL. And I have had Sabe, UFO, and spirits in my life. And I've had mind speak only once in my life. And believe it or not, it was in church. My wife and I were not doing well. I heard not in my voice. Excuse me. It's not your fault. Soon after, we were divorced. Sabe, my first time was Arizona, elk hunting in an area near Springville, Arizona. 4 of us were in camp. We were listening to the radio, and at around 11:30 the first night, we were in a meadow with tall, wooded hills on 3 sides. A beautiful area for a camp, with a small pond not too far away. And when I heard a scream over the radio, and about 3/4 up the southern hill, not like a woman screaming, something much deeper and pissed off. Not like any animal I've ever heard before or since. One of the guys hunting had grown up hunting with his dad, who worked for the BLM. We were all a little spooked. That night I slept with my 30-06 in my unzipped sleeping bag and my 41 mag under my pillow. Steve have had other experiences near Happy Jack, Arizona, and near Mormon Lake, also on elk hunts. I have moved. Have lived in Oklahoma for the last 2 years. Out of the pan and into the fire. And things have happened here also, closer to home. One thing on the eagle feather. Just a thought. If it might be them. Maybe if you haven't lost any chickens and the horses don't raise hell, and we know something has to go in there, and it's not an eagle, I don't see it as a gift. Just my thought. Maybe it's a statement. I don't think they are or think like us. I have my thoughts. Maybe ask your lady friends what their thoughts are. Just an idea. Take care, brother. Okay, man, I will. You take care too, my man. Appreciate the words and the email. Could be a statement. I don't know. I mean, things should change once I got home, right? But I was here when it first started. I was the first one to receive the 2 in the horse barn. I don't know. I mean, if it's a statement, it's just us. It's just us and our human emotions, how we're made up. Some of us are going to think it's warm and fuzzy and just embrace it. It's warm and fuzzy. It's full of love. It's just a gift from love. You know what I mean? And there's going to be other people going, oh, this is going to lead up to something bad. They're making a statement. They're showing you what they can do and how easy they can do it. They're going to kill your ass. Do you know what I mean? We can come at this feather thing from about 17 different slices of the pie around the circle. Coming in the center where the feathers are and come at it from different angles. But I don't know. Do I feel uneasy here? Not at the slightest. I don't feel uneasy here at all. Nothing to feel threatened. No. Nope. I have a very top of the line couple pieces of thermal equipment. And wink wink. And by the time I get to go pee, I'll go outside and scan around the whole thing. And so far all I've seen is lots of deer, lots of rabbits. And here's a weird thing. There's rats and mice ripping up and down in the trees behind the chicken coop. They have been forever. I don't get it. It's the weirdest shit. I got a recorder on that thing. Maybe I should record and share it with you guys. I don't know what the hell they're doing up there. Anyway, but yeah, nothing so far. I had a big bear. Did I tell you guys about that? The big bear that came ripping at me before I left? I was in the back corner. We call it the train station. That's where we wing the dead bodies and stuff in this dark corner of the property. There's these huge mature cedar trees there. There's a swamp in behind it, and Sarah says it's creepy back there. We nicknamed it the train station. And I was sneaking back there the other day because I had to dispatch some roosters, and I threw them back in the corner. And I left a trail camera back there on them, and they went missing, and the trail camera didn't get anything. I'm like, that kind of sucks. And I was sneaking back in there at first light in the drizzly morning, and I'm looking around. It's dark under there, and I looked up, and there's this great big bear on the other side of that 4-strand wire fence on the other adjacent property. And I don't know what happened, but the sucker spun, faced me, and came at me doing 50 miles per hour, just like that. Boom. It's funny. You will never outrun a bear. Ever. Never. You barely even have much time to react when they really put it into overdrive. So right away, I don't know if I know the wind wasn't in the right way for that bear to smell me, but I wasn't sure if the bear thought I was another bear or what. So I just shot right up, jumping up and down, doing jumping jacks, trying to get as big as I could, yelling at it. Rah! And then it went straight up the tree between us, but only about, he probably made it to within 8 yards of me, I think, and then he ripped up that tree. I'm like, you bastard. I thought about going and getting a rifle and dummying it, but then instead I went and got Ruby. And I let her go at the bottom of the tree for a bit, but haven't had any problems since. But I'm getting it. I haven't seen a bear in the thermal yet, but I want to. You should put an effort in doing that. There's some frickin' huge bears around here. Holy shit, big. If I think about it, I can find it. I'll show a video from my friend's house just down the road, just the other night in his backyard. Anyway, I'm babbling here today, aren't I? Maybe I'm getting better. Finally getting better, maybe. Who's next? What's this? This is titled Red now. This is titled Steve and Eagle Feathers, Insights from a Seer and Medicine Woman. All right. Good day, Steve. I've been following your channel for many years now and greatly appreciate the space you have created for so many people to share their stories and experiences. I sincerely thank you for all that you do. You're very welcome. It's too easy, and it's impossible without people like you. All right, so it's a group effort here. My name is Anthony, and I currently reside in the Slocan Valley of southeastern BC with my wife and our children. We are all on the autism spectrum at varying degrees, a topic I would love to dive into in a future email. It's a massive piece of our human evolutionary puzzle, unlocking our spiritual gifts and abilities, and a rather large key in understanding and interacting with the Sasquatch people. Today, I'll stick to the ongoing strangeness at our home. Oh, at my home. At your home. My home. My wife has carried extremely powerful gifts throughout her life as a seer, a dream worker, and a medicine woman. She very much keeps these abilities to herself and is not the type to advertise or use them for financial gain. She has worked with a few of the Sasquatch medicine people in... Wait, what? She has worked with a few of the Sasquatch medicine people in astral realms, as well as many other beings. Wow. I have learned to implicitly trust her visions and spiritual side over the years. She is not a listener, but will chime in on occasion when I listen to your videos. When she heard about the eagle feathers being left for you and Sarah, she felt called to relay the following messages and insights to you. And as you always say, take or leave whatever resonates with you. The Sasquatch people are responsible for the feathers at your home. It's not another human being. It is a next step in communication you are desiring. She saw an eagle feather in a stump surrounded by flickering orbs as the beginning of this communication. The meaning is multidimensional mirroring their own nature. The eagle feather is a gift carrying a great sign of respect, but also for you specifically a recognition of the eagle medicine you carry as a protector and a leader with clear vision. They recognize you through this medicine as you have carried it through many incarnations of existence. They recognize your rigidity with physical boundaries, something many humans have, especially natural protectors. The Sasquatch also obviously place an emphasis on physical boundaries, as many stories read here have expressed. They do not, however, have the same boundaries in communication and expression with each other and other forms of life. Entering into your animal structures is also a symbolic way of crossing the threshold of the boundary in communication that separates you. It is not testing you so much as attempting to stretch you. You acknowledge that you have received the message and wish to communicate with them. This communication requires of you, Steve, to meet them, at least part way, where they are, so to speak. If you are imagining a face-to-face type of lingual exchange, that is extremely primitive to them, and will very likely lead to misunderstanding and fear more than true connection. Our true nature, similar to the Sasquatch, is attuned to a much more comprehensive type of plug-in to our inner and outer reality, with extremely heightened sensory perception. Your physical senses are very well honed, Steve, but a relaxing and expansion of your internal emotional and heart-based boundaries is necessary for a more complete connection. Many are fearful of this expansion because it does open you up to a new realm that requires wisdom and trust to navigate. Energies or entities, both good and bad, require permission to enter your field. They cannot be forced upon you. Sometimes we can even be unaware when it is given. The truth is, any advanced communication requires a personal willing to take that leap and trust in Source/God/Creator to guide and protect you. The spark of the Creator lies within us, and when it is fully embodied, fear can no longer live within us. Evil has no sway. She suggested, as a first reciprocal step, to ask them to meet you in dream time, and hopefully an exchange can begin in that realm. Perhaps even some trust can be built. It is especially critical for humanity at this time that we all begin to take these steps to reconnection and communication with the true reality that surrounds us. The only way there is through the opening and expansion of our hearts. Only then can we see ourselves and everything around us with the same eyes as the Creator and love it in the same way. Steve, one of the best characteristics you have is your ability to think and understand what something or someone else might be thinking. It's part of what makes you a great hunter. When you expand your experience, you can expand your ability to think like them and to understand them. Keep going, or we'll get stuck in the same circles chasing our tails like so many others in this community. Blessings to you, Steve, and your family, and blessings to all beings. There you go. Absolutely appreciate that kind email, and especially tell your wife I say thank you so much. And to be honest, deep in my gut, I think I've already become aware of and accept all the suggestions that you suggested. I've had that run through my brain already, to be honest. And yeah, but I mean, what I said it numerous times. Obviously, I'm not terrified, wary. I mean, you guys see where I go by myself, right? You guys see, I don't have to prove myself when it comes to just diving into the real world by myself in an unknown zone without telling anybody where I'm going. But each time I do it, I do say out loud, just leave me alone. I'm not into it right now. I'm into enjoying myself and absolutely connecting with the real world right now. I'm not coming here to bang on a frickin' tree or leave a stupid rock on a stump for somebody's ass. I'm not. And I do not want to be harassed, screamed at, or growled at, or chased away, because I don't think I'm good at running. If obviously if I'm in the middle of the timber with a high-power rifle in my hands, I can't run. That's useless. So I can't run. So I got to face and fight, and I'm definitely versed in that. But yeah, I don't need. I don't know. It's how many people so far? We've got so many on one side of the fence and so many on the other. Meaning, it's evil, dark, not a good place to go. Do not communicate with these beings. Period. On that side of the fence, and then you go on this side of the fence. Nothing bad comes of it. They're beings. There's people just like us, and they're full of love. It's not very lopsided when you count the numbers of which side of the fence people are on. It's pretty even, right? And there's a lot of people. One thing I do not need, I'll talk to anybody. Obviously, I'll talk to anybody. I don't need shit going down inside my home. I don't need to be responsible for bringing some episodes into my home that I can't control and I can't make go away. And I understand that's a possibility. I don't think anybody needs to roll the dice on that. Do you know what I mean? Imagine that. Imagine you've provided this safe home and everybody's happy and safe. And next thing you know, shit's going on inside your home nightly, morning, whatever, day, whatever. Shit's going on in your home. That's not too cool. I don't need that shit going down. I don't think anybody does, unless you're right up to frickin' lunch. I don't know. Each their own, whatever floats your boat. But like I said about the feathers, okay, you got me. You got my attention. You threw shit at me when I'm sitting on my quad right down on the river. You've thrown stuff at me. Let her rip. Say what you got to say. And when you hear a lot of people say, well, you have to give permission. Red flag. Right? Don't you think that's a red flag? I think my gut's screaming that's a red flag. I don't give a shit what the entity, the being is. If communication can only go forward if you give permission, that's a big red flag. Don't you think? That's even more of a hesitation for me. Like, whoa. I don't think nothing's going to come good of that from what I've heard in the past with people and other entities or beings or whatever the hell you're into. I'm not into this. I'm not into that dark world either. You know, as soon as I see those creepy movies come on TV, you know, those devil worship shit, occult crap, it's like, it repels me. Like, get away from me. Got nothing to do with this. I don't watch movies that entertain that topic, spooky movies, nothing. I don't want nothing to do with it. Right? So you can understand my red flag when I hear, well, you have to take the next step. You have to give permission for communication. No, I don't think so. I think if you're a kind dispositioned being and you're as intelligent as I know you are, you can say shit to me anytime you feel like it, neighbor. You can yell it to me from the other side of the fence anytime you want, right? Why do you need my permission first? My absolute permission. You know, if that was one of these people having a shitty time at mimicking a moose last week, they didn't ask my permission to mimic a moose right next to me before they did. You know what I mean? That one, and I know that shaggy pencil gray form that I saw rip across the power line behind my pickup, that wasn't a human being, and it wasn't an elk, and it wasn't a bear. They didn't ask me for permission to be in my eyesight just before they were. I don't know, I'm rambling. Would I be? Oh yeah, I'm open to talking for sure. I'm open to talking to an intelligent being for sure. Anytime you want, let her rip. Don't beat around the bush. Don't play games. I'm not into bullshit games. I know that you're far more intelligent than just leaving a couple rocks and then changing the pattern on a stump back and forth for months on end. I don't got time for that shit. You are intelligent. I know you are. You've been around me for years, speaking out loud to whoever the hell's out there. You've been around me numerous times. I know it. You know it. We both know it. I've said it out loud while I'm there. Go ahead and talk. Say what you need to say. Interrupt me while I'm reading emails sitting on a rock in the timber. I don't give a shit. Go ahead. Let her rip. Speak. What do you want to say to me? What do you want me to share with the people? If I am going to be that person, get it going. But just know this. I don't have time for bullshit. I don't. I'm not going to do it. How many people have you guys ever watched online doing the same damned shit for years on end? Well, I got my gifting spot. I got my gifting spot too. Yeah, my gifting spot. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, well, I don't have time to maintain a gifting spot. I'm out there all the time enjoying the real world and getting the healthy food for my family. And you feel I'm worthy of communicating with, and just get it going. But am I giving you permission? Am I going to unknowingly cross a line I'm going to regret by giving permission? I don't even know who the F I'm giving permission to come into my sacred place. Do you know what I mean? Prove who you are first. Just a feather showing up in my barn doesn't tell me who you are. Prove who you are. If it's permission you need, why? You know what I mean? Why is that? Prove who you are. Prove that you're not bad. Prove that you're not evil. Prove that I'm not going to regret it. Before leading up to, if that's what you ultimately need, me giving a permission slip. It's a red flag, man. It's right now, that's a red flag. I don't give a shit. Nobody can tell me what's up with anything. You can suggest, I'll take from it what I will, or I'll leave it. But it's ultimately every single move I make in my entire existence, from the time I wake up to go to bed, is my gut. I've learned that to be correct. And that's what makes the ultimate decision. And right now, if somebody says that I need to give permission first for anything, red flag. Right now, that's a red flag. Unless somebody can change that, and then I'll entertain the thought I was sitting somewhere and going, okay, you now have permission. Come on in. Not knowing who the hell it is or what the disposition is, not having a freaking clue. Just being told there's something that isn't human, looking for permission to come into my world. Red flag. Anyway, babbled enough. I said out loud in my yard last night in the dark when I went to close up the barn. I said, all right, no cameras. Go ahead. Throw down the eagle feathers if that's what you need. Give her. They didn't. I just got that broken one yesterday. And then, again, nothing today. Oh, well, Steve, you insulted them. Shut up, Karen. I didn't insult anybody. I might not be as soft-spoken or coddling as many need today. I'm not a coddler, but I'm not insulting and I'm not disrespectful. Though I don't have time for bullshit. Anyway, here I go. Rambled enough today, huh? Maybe I must be getting better. I got shit to do. It's signing out. I got to go get my boat. The logging road's still blocked off from that frickin' fire, which is preventing me from doing all my elk cameras. But I'm riding out with a buddy who's a logger, and we're going to go out. I think we're going to leave here at 5 in the morning or something on Saturday and drive out there. We're going to retrieve his elk cameras. I got a few I can go grab, and then what? Then I'm going to run my boat back to the inlet, and the sucker's coming home. Finally got a trailer for it, so I'm not hostage to having to pay for somebody to pull it out of the water and store it out there in Banfield all winter long and pay the money. I'm really rambling today, aren't I? Okay. Share my story at howtohunt.com. Get me your truth, all right? Get me your truth. You got something you need to expose from the planet, our world today, get it to me, and I'll expose it. I'll talk about it. Oh, and I got to get somebody's got to come on here and talk about it. I got to redo. There's a kind man from Idaho, I believe. I forget his name. We did the True Talk. He had a lot to share, and I think a relative of his is walking behind the camera a couple times. I have to get Sarah on that. I got to redo that video with him because the audio on his end didn't record. It screwed up. Damn it. I got to redo that. And we got to get more people on here to hang out and have a bullshit session with me. So let's get that going. All right. And I'll be back. I think I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. Later, you guys.